forget to subscribe to our channel for more English story. Let's start with self-belief. It's the foundation of everything we do. The quiet force that fuels our dreams and pushes us forward. Yet, it's often the first thing we lose when life gets tough. Have you ever noticed how self-doubt has a way of sneaking in? Especially when you're trying something new or facing a challenge. It whispers things like, "You're not smart enough." Or, "You're not talented enough." Or even, "Who do you think you are to try this?" Sound familiar? Let me tell you a story. There was once a young woman named Sarah. She grew up in a small town where opportunities were few and far between. Her family struggled to make ends meet. And she was often told that people like her didn't go to college or achieve big dreams. The world seemed to say, "This is as far as you can go." But Sarah had a secret weapon. She believed in herself. Not because anyone told her to. Not because it was easy. But because she made a choice to trust herself. Even when no one else did. Sarah worked 3 jobs to put herself through school. She stayed up late studying after long shifts. Often exhausted and wondering if it was all worth it. There were moments when self-doubt screamed so loudly that she almost gave up. But she didn't. She kept going. One small step at a time. Today, Sarah is a successful entrepreneur. Running a company that empowers other young women to chase their dreams. Her story isn't just about success, it's about resilience, courage, and the power of believing in yourself when it feels like the world doesn't. Sarah's journey reminds us that self-belief isn't about having all the answers or being fearless. It's not about never feeling doubt or insecurity. It's about choosing to trust yourself. Even when the odds are stacked against you. It's about saying, "I don't know how this will work out. But I'm going to try anyway." Take a moment to think about your own life. Where do you need to believe in yourself more? Is there a dream you've been putting off because you're afraid you'll fail? A goal you've been too scared to pursue? What's one thing you've been doubting that you could start trusting yourself with today? Be honest with yourself. This is your life. And you deserve to live it fully. Here's a simple exercise to help you build that self-belief. Write down 3 things you've accomplished in the past that you're proud of. They don't have to be big or life-changing, just things that remind you of your strength and capability. Maybe it's finishing a project at work, learning a new skill, or even just getting through a tough day when you thought you couldn't. Keep this list somewhere visible, on your fridge, in your wallet, or as a note on your phone. And the next time self-doubt creeps in, pull it out and remind yourself, "I've done hard things before. I can do this too." Self-belief isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. One small win at a time. Every time you push through a challenge. Every time you prove to yourself that you're capable. Your belief grows stronger. So, start small. Start today. And remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to try. You are stronger than you think. More capable than you realize. And more deserving than you sometimes believe. So, take a deep breath. Trust yourself. And take that first step. You've got this. Now, let's talk about failure. It's a word that often feels heavy. Doesn't it? It carries so much shame. So much fear. We're taught to avoid it at all costs. To see it as a mark of defeat or a sign that we're not good enough. But what if I told you that failure isn't the opposite of success? What if I told you that failure is actually a part of success, a necessary, even valuable part of the journey? Let me explain it this way. Think about the bamboo tree. When you plant a bamboo seed, nothing happens for years. Literally. Years. You water it. You care for it. But there's no visible growth. No shoots. No leaves. No signs of life above the surface. It's easy to feel discouraged. To wonder if all your effort is worth it. But here's the thing. While it seems like nothing is happening, the bamboo is actually growing deep. Strong roots underground. And then, after 5 years of what looks like stillness, the bamboo shoots up 90 feet in just 6 weeks. Failure is like those early years of the bamboo tree. It feels like nothing is happening. Like you're stuck or even moving backward. But every setback, every mistake, every failure is strengthening your roots. It's preparing you for the moment when you'll shoot up and reach heights you never thought possible. Let me share another story with you. Thomas Edison, the man who invented the light bulb, failed over 1,000 times before he finally succeeded. Can you imagine that? 1,000 attempts that didn't work. Most people would have given up after the first few tries. But not Edison. When someone asked him how it felt to fail so many times, he said something incredible. I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. What a way to look at it. Right? Every failure wasn't a dead end, it was a step forward. A lesson learned. A piece of the puzzle. Now, I want you to think about a time when you failed. Really think about it. What did it feel like in that moment? The disappointment. The frustration. Maybe even the embarrassment. But now, think about what came after. What did you learn from that experience? How did it shape you into the person you are today? Maybe it taught you resilience. Maybe it showed you a strength you didn't know you had. Or maybe it simply reminded you that you're human. And that's okay. Failure isn't the end of your story, it's just a chapter. Here's a challenge for you. The next time you face a setback, ask yourself 2 questions. What is this teaching me? And how can I use this to grow? Write down your answers. Keep them somewhere you can see them, on your desk, in your journal, or even as a note on your phone. And when you're feeling stuck or discouraged, revisit those answers. Let them remind you of how far you've come and how much you've learned. Failure isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. It's proof that you're trying. That you're daring to step out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. And that's where the magic happens. So, the next time you stumble, don't let it define you. Let it refine you. Let it remind you that you're growing. Even when it doesn't feel like it. You are stronger than you think. More capable than you realize. And more resilient than you sometimes believe. Keep going. Your roots are growing deeper. And soon, you'll shoot up taller than you ever imagined. Perseverance is the quiet, unshakable force behind every success story. It's not about being the fastest, the smartest, or the most talented. It's not about overnight success or lucky breaks. It's about showing up. Day after day. Even when it's hard. Even when you're tired. Even when it feels like you're not making progress. Perseverance is the decision to keep going. No matter what. Let me tell you about a man named James. James dreamed of becoming a writer. He loved stories, how they could transport people to new worlds. Make them feel seen. And inspire them to dream bigger. But for years, his dream felt impossible. He faced rejection after rejection. Publishers told him his work wasn't good enough. That it didn't fit the market. That he should try something else. Each no stung. But James didn't give up. He kept writing. He kept improving. He kept submitting. And after 12 long years of perseverance, his first novel was finally published. Today, he's a best-selling author. And his books have touched the lives of millions. James's story reminds us that success is often a marathon. Not a sprint. It's not about how fast you start, it's about how long you're willing to keep going. It's about consistency. About doing the work even when you don't feel like it. Even when it feels like no one is watching or cheering you on. Because here's the truth. Every small step you take, every day you show up, brings you closer to your goal. Now, I want you to think about your own life. What's one goal you've been working toward that feels out of reach? Maybe it's a career change, a creative project, or a personal dream you've been putting off. Whatever it is, take a moment to reflect on it. What's one small step you can take today to keep moving forward? It doesn't have to be big or dramatic. It just has to be something. Because progress, no matter how small, is still progress. Here's a practical way to build perseverance. Create a daily or weekly routine that aligns with your goals. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. Maybe it's writing for 30 minutes a day. Practicing a new skill. Or reaching out to one person who can help you move forward. The key is to show up. Even when it's hard. Even when you don't feel motivated. Remember. Motivation comes and goes. But discipline, showing up consistently, is what gets results. And here's something important to keep in mind. Small steps add up to big results over time. Think about a river carving a canyon. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens drop by drop. Day by day. Year by year. Your goals are the same. Every small effort you make is shaping your future. Even if you can't see it yet. So, what's your next step? What's one thing you can do today to keep moving forward? Write it down. Commit to it. And then, take that step. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep going. Remember, every great success story is filled with moments of doubt, struggle, and perseverance. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. They kept going. And so can you. You've got this. Finally, let's talk about purpose. Purpose is the why behind everything we do. It's the compass that guides us, the fire that fuels us, and the reason we get out of bed in the morning. Without purpose, life can feel empty, like we're just going through the motions. But with it, everything changes. Purpose gives our lives meaning, direction, and a sense of fulfillment that nothing else can. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria spent years working a corporate job. On paper, she had it all: a steady paycheck, a nice title, and a comfortable life. But deep down, she always felt like something was missing. She'd come home at the end of the day feeling drained, wondering if this was all there was to life. Then, one day, she volunteered at a local shelter. Something shifted inside her. For the first time in years, she felt alive. She realized her passion wasn't in boardrooms or spreadsheets, it was in helping others. In making a difference. No matter how small. Maria took a leap of faith. She quit her job and started a nonprofit, dedicating her life to serving her community. It wasn't easy. There were days when she doubted herself, when the challenges felt overwhelming. But she kept going because she knew she was living her purpose. Today, her organization has helped hundreds of people. And Maria wakes up every morning knowing her work matters. Maria's story shows us that finding purpose isn't about having all the answers or waiting for a lightning bolt moment. It's about listening to your heart, paying attention to what lights you up, and having the courage to take action, even when it's scary. Now, I want you to think about your own life. What's one thing that lights you up inside? What makes you feel alive? Like time flies when you're doing it. Maybe it's helping others, creating something beautiful, or solving a problem that matters to you. Whatever it is,